The Entrepreneur's Library, episode 133.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Library, the only book-centric podcast that reviews all the top-selling business books and shares authors' perspective firsthand. This is your resource to finding the next great book that will enable you to grow personally and professionally. Welcome your host, Wade Danielson.
Thank you for joining us on the EL. Today we have David Newman, author of Do It Marketing, 77 instant action ideas to boost sales, maximize profits, and crush your competition. This is one of my favorite interviews that we've had so far. David does an amazing job of taking you through a very thick, thorough book that covers a ton of great content on how to take your marketing, your business to the next level. So without further ado, let's bring on David. Welcome, David, and thank you for joining us on the Entrepreneur's Library.
Hey, Wade, it's great to be here with you. Thank you.
We take just a moment before we take a deep dive into your book and introduce yourself. Tell us just a little bit about you personally.
Sure. Well, so my name is David Newman. I run a company called Do It Marketing, and coincidentally, that is also the title of my book, Do It Marketing. And I work with consultants and entrepreneurs and small business owners and independent professionals who want to do a better job with their marketing and grow their business. Live outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania with my beautiful bride of 30 years. 2 kids. Our son Charlie is 19. Our daughter Becca is 22. And life is an ongoing adventure.
So, David, thank you for sharing that. And before we take a deep dive into the book, which is the main thing that we're looking to do here today, but I want you to, at the very end, I'm going to ask you to share a little bit more about that business that you talked about, because I think there's some entrepreneurs that are listening here today that can maybe benefit from some of the services or products that you actually provide. But,
sure.
But now let's jump right into that book, Do It Marketing, which was made available for purchase back in June 2013. And David, we're going to move quickly, but we're going to cover the top questions that our listener would love to get answered and future reader. What was the inspiration behind writing Do It Marketing?
Well, I think it really was founded in my business, in my coaching and consulting and speaking business, because so many small business owners, entrepreneurs, independent professionals are stuck. They're stuck with marketing. They don't like marketing. They love the work. They love if they're an accountant, they love the accounting. If they're a baker, they love the cupcakes. If they're an architect, they love creating those beautiful houses. But when it comes to marketing and sales, there are so many people that say, oh, I love my clients. I love my work. I love doing the work of my work. I just don't like the marketing part. I hate selling. I'm not comfortable. I'm not good at it. And this is causing so much heartache, headache, hassle, and frustration that a book like this just needed to be written. And there's a ton of marketing books. There's a ton of sales books, but very few of them are aimed at that small and solo practitioner about here's some things you can do right now.
So what would you say makes your book different from others regarding the same or similar topic?
Well, again, I think, there's no doubt there's a ton of marketing books. There's a ton of sales books. And Wade, as you know, there's a ton of business books. There's 17 new business books being published while we're doing this interview together. So my book is really different because it's a sales-driven marketing book. So it's not marketing for the sake of marketing. We don't talk about branding. We don't talk about, any of this kind of high-level theory and fluff. In fact, there's a chapter in my book called Branding is BS, because there's so much smoke and mirrors and BS about this concept of branding and marketing theory and philosophy. I've taken all of that and thrown it out the window. Everything in the Do It Marketing book is driven to a sale, driven to ringing the cash register, putting more money in your pocket, and generating results quickly. And again, the reason that the book is called Do It Marketing, it's about action. It's about action. It's about what you need to do today, this week, this month, on a regular, ongoing basis to move your business forward and get more clients and customers.
So, David, how do you suggest the reader engage with your book? Is this one that they should read from front to back, or did you really design it to where they can jump in and jump out based on the information that they need at that moment?
Well, that's a great question. And again, unlike most books that are a big wall of text, this book, when you pick up this book or you look at it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or your favorite book website, it's laid out more like a web page or a series of web pages. Very graphical, very visual, very modular. So you actually don't need to read the book cover to cover. There is a sequence, there is a method to the madness. And there's also a 21-day marketing launch plan at the end of the book that puts things in very stepwise order so that nothing is left out, nothing is assumed. It's all in there step by step by step. However, I've gotten some great feedback from people, and wait, you might find this funny. People say, David, don't take this the wrong way. It's a great bathroom book. And I think the reason it's a great bathroom book is because of that random access. Pick it up, flip open to any page or flip open to the table of contents. If you're wrestling with sales, there's a sales section. If you're wrestling with prospecting or lead generation, there are sections on prospecting. There are sections on leads. If you have a question about referrals, there's a whole section about referrals. If you have questions about online marketing, digital media, social media, there's sections on that. You flip it open, you read a few of those little micro chapters, and you're done. So you'll get, and I've had some great feedback from readers also, that they say, David, I've read your book cover to cover. Now I'm dipping back in to the sections that I'm working on right now in my business. And that always makes me feel great, gets a huge compliment.
No, that's huge. And thank you for sharing that. So now that we know the purpose or the background behind the book, let's take a deep dive into the content itself. So will you please take us through the chapters and really, I always use the example like you're sitting down with one of your best friends. He's like, they would tell me what your book's all about. And you can really take the next 5 to 8, maybe even 10 minutes to really break down what we can expect out of to get out of your book.
Well, so, and again, this will be a high level, high speed skim because there is a tremendous amount of information and tactics and tools and templates and scripts in the book. So rather than go through section by section, because obviously the subtitle is 77 instant action ideas to boost sales, maximize profits, and crush your competition, we're not going to have time to hit all 77 points in the next 5 or 8 or 10 minutes. But I'll give you a quick tour of the sections of the book and then maybe pull out some favorite micro chapters, because the whole book, I've used this term micro chapters a couple times now, the whole book is written in these 1 to 2 page micro chapters. So again, it's meant to be fast absorption, random access, quick hit. Here's what to do. Here's the tool. Here's the template. Here's a script to make you successful. So we start out with the overview chapter. And the overview chapter is called Marketing Rocks. And again, this is meant to take the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the hesitation, and the dislike of marketing away. And say, you know what? Marketing needs to be easy, effortless, and enjoyable. And if it's not easy, effortless, and enjoyable for you and for your business, you're probably doing it wrong. So, take it easy. Take a nice deep breath. And that first section just shows you that marketing can be the most fun part of your business and not the most dreaded or the most neglected. The second part of the book is, we always talk about, well, what's your unique selling proposition? And let's start talking about you. And say, no, we're not going to start talking about you because nobody cares about you. So the second part of the book, which is really the beginning of the majority of the content, it's about them. It's about them. And then the actual title of the whole section is, it's about them. Really. It really is about them. So we talk about who are you, who's your business. Let's talk about your products and services and programs in the context of your prospects. So learning to speak prospect language about prospect problems is the first big aha insight in that section of the book. So you have to answer questions like, what do you want to be known for, right? Who are your best and highest probability prospects? And one of the sound bites that I have in here also, Wade, is it's so important for entrepreneurs and small business owners and independent professionals to show up with a bucket and not a microphone. And what I mean by that is in that bucket, job number one is to collect collect your prospects and clients and customers' urgencies, priorities, wants, needs, gaps, challenges, heartaches, headaches, gaps, hopes, dreams, aspirations. What do they want personally? What do they want professionally? What do they want organizationally? You collect all of that, then you're able to talk to them. So many people, when we start a marketing consulting program or a coaching program, they say, David, look at my website. Look at this sales letter. Look at my LinkedIn. What's the right headline? What's the right copy? What should I say? What's the right message? And I say, I don't know. I don't know, because we haven't decided who you're talking to yet. So once you nail that down, who they are, what they want, what they need, what they're afraid of, what they're excited about, then you can start marketing. And that's the foundational chapter in the book. And that's also the foundational piece of any good marketing strategy. The next part of the book continues in the same vein. It's called Learn to Speak Prospect. And here we talk about messaging, about what to say and how to say it so that you punch through the noise. Because the problem, Wade, and you've seen this a ton with all the folks that you've interviewed and you've worked with, everyone starts to sound the same. I mean, everyone starts to sound the same. Every business, every competitor, it's what I call the same-o, lame-o business model. And it's safe, and it's gray, and it's vanilla. And, it's very hard to market and sell successfully if you're out there. It's a technicolor world, and our prospects are living in a technicolor world. If you show up as gray and plain and vanilla, and you sound like, look like, and act like every other company that does what you do, you're just dead in the water. So adding some specialization, adding a point of view, adding an opinion, adding a slant to your messaging is hugely important. The next part of the book is called Expert Positioning. And this is really the core of my work as a coach and as a consultant, is positioning that business owner, that entrepreneur, that solo professional as the go-to expert in their field. So this is a combination of three things. I call it in the book your 3 PR game plan. And 3 PR is personalized professional public relations. And it's got nothing to do with public relations or publicity or press releases. Your 3 PR game plan, number one, is 3 legs to the stool. Number one is speaking. So speaking to targeted groups of prospects, targeted audiences that are filled, that are a target-rich environment with the exact prospects that you want to do business with. Whether you do that speaking locally, at your chamber, at a trade group, at a professional association, speaking is simply one-to-many prospecting, and it's a hugely, hugely important strategy that we dig deep into in the book. Second part of your 3 PR game plan is publishing. And I'm talking about publishing, whether it's publishing a blog, an email newsletter, guest posting, publishing articles, even publishing a book. Obviously, the highest and biggest commitment to a publishing strategy is publishing a nonfiction business book built around your expertise as that accountant, as that lawyer, as that consultant, as that business owner. Third leg of the stool is social media. And social media is about leaving a digital footprint, offering value, inviting engagement, building that tribe online. So if you think about it, that 3 PR game plan, the speaking builds your visibility, the publishing builds your credibility, and the social media builds your shareability. And then there's a whole section on social media and about how not to be an idiot on social media. And I actually have, that's an acronym that we dig deep into. IDIOT is IDIOTS. So how not to act like all the other idiots on social media. And it's about avoiding I, me, and my syndrome. Don't dumb it down. Having information without invitation is the third mistake. Overselling on social media is the fourth mistake. Talk without actions, not having a call to action, is the fifth mistake. And then the S stands for short-term focus, and how to understand that the seeds that you plant on social media, that's an evergreen asset, and those assets will pay off weeks and weeks, months and months, even years and years into the future. The next part of the book is the S word, and the S word, of course, is sales. Because like I mentioned at the top of our conversation, Wade, a lot of small business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, they just don't like selling. They don't feel they're good at it. They're not comfortable with it. They're not as comfortable as they could be or should be with it. And so I talk about an easy, effortless sales process, some sales tactics, some sales sound bites, how to have a trusted advisor relationship with your prospects, how to have a peer-to-peer, non-threatening, non-pushy, non-salesy, non-desperate conversation with every prospect, and that opens the door to buying from you, and it also opens the door to not buying from you. So you know what? If you and I have a conversation, and you may have some needs, and I may have some services and programs to offer you, I'm going to tell you, here's how it is, here's how it works, here's the success others have experienced, and you know what? It's not for everybody. And if it's not for you, that's A-okay. So I leave the door open to a yes. I leave the door open to a no. This makes for a non-salesy, no pressure, meaningful conversation that you have with prospects, and you will make a ton more sales because of it. In the next couple chapters, I talk about getting better leads and getting better prospects. Because when you break down the sales process, what I found, Wade, is that so many business owners and entrepreneurs say, you know what? If I can get in front of more people, I will make more sales. No question. I just need more people to talk to. Once we're talking, and if it's the right prospect in the right situation who's talking to me for the right reason, I close the sale. So lead generation is a huge problem, a huge obstacle, a huge desire of a lot of the small business owners and solo professionals that I work with. So there's actually two entire sections of the book about prospecting strategies, lead generating strategies, online, offline, how to have that initial conversation, how to have the enrollment conversation about, hey, maybe this program or this product or this service is a good fit for you. Let's talk about that. And how to do a diagnostic, trusted advisor, peer-to-peer lead generation strategy. The next part is about eliminating roadblocks. And some of this is your personal productivity. Some of it is around your calendar. Some of it's around how to overcome some common objections. One of my favorite sections in here is called RBI versus CSI. RBI is when you get rejected by ignorance. Rejected by ignorance. That means that they're saying no, and they don't even know what your company does. Or they're afraid that it's going to compete with an existing vendor or an existing technology or an existing practice that they have. And the way to overcome that is by what I call CSI. And CSI is, your comeback to them is, well, a lot of our clients have found this is a beautiful complement and supplement to what you're already doing in-house. So CSI is complement and supplement to what you're already doing in-house. And that's a huge way to make your prospects feel better and safer and less threatened about the possibility of doing business with you. Then last couple sections of the book, I talk about your business DNA. And this is where I mentioned that chapter, Branding is BS, is in here, about really figuring out who's a great fit for you and who is not. Who's going to be that nightmare client from hell, and who's going to be that wonderful champion and advocate and repeat and referral person who's going to do business with you for years and years to come. So really understanding that business DNA, who's a good fit, who's a great fit, how does all of this work, and also about things like things that you might want to change about your company. So you're naming the name of the company. And again, I make fun of some people, and you folks listening might not be crazy about this. I hate 3 initials and associates. So my initials are, I'm David James Newman, DJN and associates, right? That's a cop-out. That's not a good business name. That's the lowest common denominator. So things like how to have branding and naming that serves your business and serves as a magnet to the kind of clients and customers that you want to attract. We talk about your competition and the fact that many times we're competing with idiots, and the problem is that they're winning because we think, well, we do great work. We do great work. That's our DNA. And so people should just come to us because we do great work. And I say, no, you have to articulate and you have to distinguish. And that's 2 key parts of that section of the book is articulation and distinction. how do I talk about what we do at my company? And then how do I make that distinct in the marketplace so people slap their foreheads and say, wow, I got to get me some of that. That sounds awesome. Where have you been all my life? This is exactly what we need to buy. And so all of that is in that business DNA chapter. And then personal success strategies is the second to last chapter. There we talk about what you need to do as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, as that company of one. What are some things that you can do to do things like build your confidence? Because confidence is such a huge business asset. So we talk about confidence, we talk about charm, we talk about having a team of smart friends to work with. And don't be a lone wolf. Don't try and do everything yourself. That you should be, delegating and outsourcing and partnering and joint venturing and affiliating with other people who can help you and promote you, and who you can help and who you can promote. So all those personal success strategies, including stamina. I mean, stamina is a huge personal success strategy. People say, well, things are tough, things are hard. You know what? The number one secret to your success is stamina. One of my favorite Tom Peters quotes, he says, success in business is about sticking around long enough to get lucky. And so if you stick around long enough, the key to sticking around long enough is stamina. So we talk about how to develop more stamina for you as the business owner. And then the last section before we get to the 21-day launch plan is about taking action. And I close out the book with 5 marketing moves for business success. And I'll give you a little teaser. I'll tell you what they are. They're move up, move in, move ahead, move aside, and move alone. And they're little subtle differences about niching and focusing and being different and being distinct. So it's a nice little capstone to the information in the book. And then we move to implementation, because the last part of the book, Wade, is the 21-day marketing launch plan that takes all of the ideas that we've talked in, the 77 ideas, all the different marketing strategies, tactics, templates, and tools, and say, okay, now you want to start to implement. Day 1, here's what you work on. Here's what you write down. Here's what you decide. Here's what you calendarize. Here's what you prioritize. Day 2, and we go through everything. We go through the questions at the beginning. Who are you? Who are they? What do you want to be known for? We talk about your platform building plan, how to expertise yourself and expertise your business. We talk about your web presence, your domains, your blogs, your names, your URLs. We talk about pricing. We talk about your publishing strategy, your speaking strategy, all of those things, step by step by step, day by day by day. The thing that I've gotten the most feedback on, and some of the people that I've heard from have just bought the book to get the 21-day plan, and the other 200 or so pages are bonus material. They said, David, I really wanted to get my hands on that 21-day marketing launch plan because nothing is left out and nothing is assumed. So it doesn't matter if you're launching your business on day 1 tomorrow. It doesn't matter if you've been in business for 15 or 20 years and you're relaunching or pivoting or changing or flexing your business into a new direction, a new product line, a new market, whatever it may be. Think of this as your 21-day blueprint that 3 weeks from today, you're going to be positioned and packaged and ready to rock and roll for success. So that's the book. That's the whole enchilada, soup to nuts, my friend.
Wow. So I wrote a ton of things down that I want to go back and look at in the book. And so I'm really excited about that. And even just at the end there, you talking about the 21-day plan. So this next question, I want to jump into about 9 different conversations with you after you just got done with that, but I'm going to continue on. This next question I feel like is somewhat difficult because you just gave us a perfect review and breakdown of your book. And now I'm asking that if the reader can only take away one concept or principle or action item out of the entire book, everything that you just took the time discussing with us, what would you want that to be?
No worries. 4 words. The whole 280-page book can be boiled down into 4 words. Offer value, invite engagement. Everything we talk about in marketing and sales and business development is about offer value. And value, by the way, is defined by our clients, not by us. So it really has to be valuable, useful, actionable, smart, advice, insights, recommendations, whatever it is. Offer value and invite engagement. That's true in the marketing process. That's true in the sales process. That's true online. That's true offline. You can boil everything down, not to discourage people from buying the book and reading the book, but if you want 4 words of advice, that's the DNA of the philosophy. It's offer value, invite engagement.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. I love how you broke that down. And our next question, I hope this didn't already steal your answer for this one, but the next question is, do you have a favorite quote from your book?
I do. Well, again, Do It Marketing, and the reason I called the book Do It Marketing instead of Think About It Marketing is because it doesn't matter how much you think, it doesn't matter how much you want, it doesn't matter how much you strategize. It's all about action. So my soundbite is action gives you traction. That's my favorite quote in the whole book. Action gives you traction. Because again, it's do it marketing. It's not think about it marketing. Get into action and you will have success.
Dave, we're going to take a lot of these concepts that you've been talking about, the offer value and invite engagement. So many people right now are on their mobile device. The podcast has turned to where probably at least 70% of the people right now are either on a treadmill, they're on their way home. Point is, they don't have access to write a lot of this extremely powerful information down. So we will put this on our show notes at the elpodcast.com, because we realize it's the same thing. After I ask someone for a quote, it's hard for me just to sit here and not want to think about it and kind of dive deeper into it with them. And so we'll put it in that show notes so people can reference back to it. And David, also, it wouldn't be a book-centric podcast if I didn't ask you, the author, for a book recommendation. And we're not looking for just any recommendation. We're looking for one that impacted your life, created a paradigm shift. I just spoke with someone recently, MJ DeMarco, and he said, I don't like the word paradigm shift. I like lifestyle shift, a book that you've read that created maybe a lifestyle shift for you. Do you have one of those?
Oh my gosh, do I ever? And I'm a huge Seth Godin fan, and the number one, and he's written a lot of great books, so it's even hard to pick one, but I have one that is the standout lifestyle changing book that made a huge impact on me. It's Lynchpin. Lynchpin by Seth Godin. Highly, highly, highly recommended.
What a great author. He also just came out with a new one. I think he's kind of doing it in an untraditional way as far as I think with the publishing, because I don't think it's on Amazon. But he just came out with a new one. I heard him kind of promoting it. I think there's some pictures in it.
Yes, it's almost like a visual magazine format for a book.
Love how you
it's
can
fantastic. I have a copy of that as well. It's called What to Do When It's Your Turn, and it's always your turn.
Oh, that's awesome. Very good. Well, that's an excellent recommendation. I don't think you can go wrong with something from Seth Godin. So, David, before we depart, and I brought this up somewhat at the beginning, can you recommend the best way for our listeners to get more information on you and your book, Do It Marketing, and just to let you know that this is the opposite of a plug-free zone. This is a plug-away zone. So,
right.
We always have. I only bring people on that have something to do with our audience, with the listener who's listening right now. So if there's something that you can provide them, definitely mention that, please.
Absolutely. So a lot of free resources at doitmarketing.com. And there's also some free downloads and companion tools for the book at doitmarketing.com/book. And I have a blog. I've got occasionally updated podcast, not like this podcast where you actually, you do this on a schedule. I have an occasionally updated podcast, tons of articles, resources, tools. Obviously, if you want to have a conversation with me about, some training, some coaching, some consulting, I'm totally open to that. And by the way, we would have a trusted advisor, peer-to-peer, non-salesy, non-pushy conversation, right? Because that's what I just said, that I'm going to teach you how to do. So I'm practicing what I preach there. And just a ton of good stuff at doitmarketing.com.
And with that, David, is the actual podcast, is it the same as the book, Do It Marketing? Or
It is. So if you search on iTunes, you can search for Do It Marketing or Do It Marketing David Newman. It'll come up.
Perfect. Very good. Well, David, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your book with us.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Thanks again for listening in today. If you'd like more information on David or his book, Do It Marketing, check out the show notes at the elpodcast.com. And as always, if you would like an opportunity to win this phenomenal book, Become a VIP there at the homepage at the elpodcast.com.
Looking for your next book idea? Head over to the elpodcast.com, where Wade shares his amazing resource, the top 10 business books recommended by over 500 entrepreneurs, with you for free. That's the elpodcast.com. Till the next time, keep it on the EL.